Okay, Jamie Pilley, welcome to the Waterford FC Podcast and welcome to Waterford.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, it's good to be back. I've not been to Waterford since the first game of the season, Shelbourne. I was at Shamrock away for that good win in Tallaght.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I'm watching every game on LOI TV.
I was just about to ask, is that what you do? You have a subscription to LOI TV and you're watching it?
I'm an armchair supporter, yeah, from the UK for the most part.
Well, if there was one away game to attend this year, it was probably the Shamrock Rovers away was probably the choice.
Definitely, yeah. The fans were brilliant and the result matched it. Yeah,
that was a very special day. A couple of us, well, a lot of us travelled up on the buses and took it in, and you know, it's. I think it was almost a turning point. I think in the season, but it could have went either way, and you know, it was such a statement win against the old enemy up in their front yard. It really kicked on, I think, for what's transpired.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good win, a massive performance from the whole team, and it was as we were just starting to probably exceed expectations of what we were going to do this season, and I think everyone would have snapped anyone's hand off for a draw at Tallaght, but to go and win 3-1 in spectacular fashion is absolutely exceeding expectations. Yeah,
for sure. Well, look, I think we'll start at the start. You are now the owner of Waterford FC.
Yeah,
we're all very delighted to hear that. What was the process like? You have to get approval and all that kind of stuff. Did it take longer than you thought? Did it happen faster than you thought? Are you now relieved that it's finally here and we can all kick on?
Yeah, I mean, it probably happened beginning of summer. So I think, obviously naturally relieved to get it all done along with the Fleetwood one as well. And now we're kicking on and moving in the right direction. Hopefully trying to push for those European positions at the end of this season. But in terms of getting the ownership changed, done, good work with the FAI to get that over the line. So good to finally get it done and move forward.
Excellent. Well, look, I don't want to get too bogged down with all the business end of things because people can Google that if they want to find that stuff out. I'm here to kind of get to know you, I suppose, and let the supporters of Waterford FC get to know you as well. I'd love to know what your first impressions were of Waterford, not just of the club itself, because listen, we can sit here and boast about how great the RSC is here and the training facilities and stuff like that, but what about Waterford City itself?
Well, I mean, Waterford, I'll start with the League of Ireland football, because I'd never even considered looking over the Irish Sea to what the league system has been like here, and it was only when my dad considered that Waterford was going to be a club that he purchases. And I think my first game here was against Cork City when they won in the last minute with a penalty that was a bit dubious. And that was my first taste of Ireland and my first taste of League of Ireland football. And since then, I've immersed myself in it. I've become an avid follower of both the Premier Division and the First Division. I know clubs up and down the country. You get to know the geography of a country from football, as I do in England. And I've really bought into the League of Ireland. I think it's got probably the biggest potential for growth in all of Europe as a league division, as a league system. We've got to probably get the government to back us to be able to really take it to the next level. The facilities, stadiums, they probably are the ones that are needing the money to be improved the most. And that's where I'd start. And from there, I think you can then grow into being a more structured and a higher standard of a league. You've just got to look what Shamrock and Pats are doing at the minute in Europe. That does massive things for the League of Ireland as a whole. So we've got to support our counterparties there in the league and their expeditions in Europe as well.
Yeah, and I think that's something with the League of Ireland as well, that we're, as much as there is rivalries and, you know, borderline hatreds between some clubs, I think we're all happy to see clubs doing well. I mean, I was speaking to a couple of fans the other day and we were saying, like, you know, if Rovers got a somewhat famous, if you like, team, a well-known team in the Conference League, would we travel up and have a watch of the game? And I think that goodwill is still there in amongst a lot of the...
Yeah, the football culture from Ireland to England is totally different. Yeah. Even at a lower level in England, a team from down the road around the corner would not want any success for Fleetwood, if for example. But in Ireland, it's really good that the league supports its teams in Europe, because that's ultimately what will benefit the whole of the system.
Mm-hmm. So take us to Waterford then. You're now ingratiated yourself into the League of Ireland and how the league works, the players, the team, the geography, as you said. When you come over the bridge in Waterford for the first time, what is your first impressions of what we have here?
Well, Waterford's a great city. I mean, you just got to see the culture as you go around. It's a big sporting city, big football city. I've seen that from games I've been coming to over the last few years. Staying here, getting to know it, getting to know the people. And it's a club that I'm happy to represent, especially in the direction we're going. There's a lot of positivity around. I know there's big developments happening in Waterford, down by the river and stuff like that as well at the minute. So it feels like a city on the up. Yeah,
and that's kind of why I'm even kind of going there with that, because I'm very, very proud of being from Waterford myself. I always bang the drum of being from Waterford and what we have to offer here, and and we should have more here. But to be somebody from the outside who's come in, is investing in Waterford. It must be an exciting time to see that, as you said yourself, a city on the up with the North Quays development, and it really seems to be a time where there is a little bit of momentum behind Waterford City itself.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Totally would agree. And I think it's going to be, it's going to move and shift throughout the next few years. So hopefully, spearheading that is a good, successful football team.
Yeah, and you mentioned yourself, of course, Europe a couple of times. Has it surprised you that the team is in and around those European spots this season?
Yeah, definitely. I would say it has definitely exceeded my expectations to where we are. I thought we'd be probably solidly mid-table. I think we're getting that ability to fly up the table and be where we are now because of the downfall of Pats, because of the downfall of Bows.
Yeah,
I mean I've won one in about 15 or something like that. So
yeah,
we've got to take benefit from that, and if we can keep winning games, it's time to start dreaming. So hopefully we can get there and try and make some of those European games next season.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I think if you had told myself or any Waterford fan coming into this season, first season back in the Premier League, if you would have told us we'd be, playing for European, we probably wouldn't have even believed you, to be honest with you.
No, yeah, I don't disagree.
And one thing I've also noticed as well in the goodwill of the fans here is, if there's a bad result, if something happens, it's always followed up with, look, if you would have come to me at the start of the season, I would have just said, hopefully we'll stay in the Premier League. Was that the aim going in of you guys? Or did you maybe see, well, look, let's finish mid-table and build towards Europe next year?
I'm probably beginning of the season, I would have expected us to be higher than battling for relegation.
Okay.
I didn't think we were a team of that bottom sort of 2 or 3. I sort of envisaged us being mid-table. I think we've probably had the best out of the players like Malise. Unfortunately, he's gone back to Waterford now, to Fleetwood, sorry, after his injury and then whatever happened there. And then some of the players that we signed, example, Podge has been an absolute revelation, and I think by getting the most out of players like that, he's allowed us to rock it and get to where we are currently.
Mm-hmm. I listened to another podcast you did, and you spoke about how involved you are with everything to do with Fleetwood Town. I thought it was amazing. How hands-on are you with the players that are coming in and out of Waterford? Is that something that you hand over completely? Because I had spoken to someone else on the Fleetwood side about a player that we played against previously. I went, I like him, I think he's a great player, and he said to me, Jamie likes him as well. So obviously you have your eye on certain players.
No, I like to get involved with transfers and building teams. Naturally, I'll do that with Keith, I'll do that with Steve Kerwood, who's the joint CEO. I do like to get involved with the transfers. I feel like I want to have an impact, especially what we've done in this window as well.
So are you looking towards obviously players maybe at Fleetwood that we could see sent over here, but you're also looking at the League of Ireland as a whole, at players maybe for next season yourself?
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons I'm over today to watch us play Derry, is because I want to keep an eye on a couple of players on the other side for Fleetwood. So having that ability to know the league as well as I do now, it gives me a real ear and eyes and ears in Ireland for poaching the best players for Fleetwood as well. But In terms of loans, transfers that come vice versa, because Badrone and Mansfield go the other way now, which is something that I want to do, and I want to get that symbiosis that players can go either way. And I think if the best players from Waterford's 21s can go and get a real games programme in Fleetwood, it's going to grow them as a player. Ronan will go and get 20, 30 games this season playing against Championship under-21 teams because of the Category 2 system that Fleetwood has. So he's going to come back here a better player, if not stay there and develop and come back into the future as well.
This is it, and I think, listen, I don't want to say the word short-sightedness, but I think there's a kind of a narrative sometimes when it comes to multi-club ownership that, oh well, we're the smaller of the two clubs, if you like, and they're going to come and take the better players. Players always want to play at the top level that they can, as far as they can, for as long as they can. I think anyone who's played any level of football will know that. But I think we're seeing the huge benefits of being the sister club of someone like Fleetwood. Like you said, you mentioned Melise. Look, obviously Melise got injured, he's gone back and all that kind of stuff. But you have people like Barry Bagley, and like I could go on. And you mentioned yourself, Ronan, there. Like, was that something from the outset that you saw happening? Is there more plans going forward into next season already? You're thinking about who can go either side? Yeah,
so I had a meeting with Keith this morning about retentions, about releases, about new players coming in and activating options, all stuff like that for the first team. I think with the under-21s from Waterford going to Fleetwood, that's only something that's happened over the last, this window, because it was a bit of a light bulb moment where we needed some more resource over there. We've got some good aspiring young players here that aren't really ready for League of Ireland Premier Division, so it's a great option for them to go the other way. But as you say at the initial part of your statement, where Waterford could be sort of the smaller brother or the little brother as Fleetwood are at the minute, but who's to say that doesn't change? And the League of Ireland is a growing league where I think it's probably 2-3 years of getting real investment. And if that happens, then Fleetwood could well end up being the smaller and little brother to Waterford. But at the minute, in August 2024, Fleetwood's the more desirable location to be than the League of Ireland.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the seed I was planting with that question as well is, I mentioned Waterford City being on the up. The League of Ireland, it's probably never been cooler or more in trend to follow a League of Ireland club.
Look at the attendances, the flying, highest they've ever been since probably the 70s.
Absolutely. So, like, listen, there's a lot of people who have been down here in the RSC, and there was very low attendances over the years. Now I'm going back not that long ago. You could nearly do a head count from the old stand to the old stand from the new stand, right? And that's a fact.
I've seen pictures of when it was sort of that early teens years, 20 teens, and where there is no one in the ground.
Exactly.
But we're in the Premier Division, so it does baffle me that. And I think, look what South Dublin Council have done with Tallaght. It's amazing. If you had 3 or 4 Tallats around the country, that no doubt people would come more to the games. The RSC is a great stadium, but I want something behind the goal so that fans can get more invested and closer to the pitch, try and influence the game. And I think developing the infrastructure that's here is going to be key to keep the growth going of the league. So
let's chat about that kind of thing with match day, because I had Keith on. I think it was the second episode we did, and Keith has a long-term vision for match day here at the RSC. He mentioned to me even the culture of football, music, maybe getting it a bit louder, maybe getting something closer to the pitch, as you said yourself. Is that something you're even looking at?
Yeah, it's something that we've conversed with. Complications because of the running track. So that's something we've got to figure out with the council, because that's what the fans want, and the fans want to be able to stand behind a goal, which isn't available at the minute. So absolutely, we need to find a solution to that, and we've got to work with the council to make that happen. I think the fan zone's been a revelation. Alcohol licence is nearly there, so you'll be able to have a pint soon at the RSC, in the sponsors lounge as well. So I think it's all well and good building a club on the pitch, but you also have to do work off the pitch, and that's what we've tried to do with Waterford. We've done all these caveats that you see, even like the club shop. It gives us a real sort of flag in the sand and shows people where we operate from. And we want to continue to do it. And things like alcohol licence, people want a pint of the game. Things like standing, they're on the agenda and the things that we want to get done.
Yeah, like as I said, there's never been a cooler time, I don't think, in my era at least, to be a League of Ireland fan. But also, like, Waterford has originally been a soccer city, a football city, and then it became more of a hurling city and county. Even after that, you'd see nothing but hurling jerseys and half zips and stuff. But I've never seen more Waterford FC memorabilia or merchandise or whatever being worn around the city centre. It really is brilliant to see.
Yeah. No, it is. I think you see the appetite the fans have, even going away from home. For example, when we went up to Derry, I think we've sold out both times. They've only brought 30 odd fans here today, so it shows the appetite is really here in Waterford.
For sure.
And the more we grow it, the bigger it can get.
And just getting back to match day again, like, it's funny when you hear Keith and yourself speak about the different things that you necessarily, as a match going punter, might not even consider. It's just, you know, the point on match day, the fan zone. Keith even mentioned about maybe trying to get some sort of a more rockier anthem for the team to walk out to. Is that something else you're looking at?
It's probably not one thing I've thought of at the minute. Keith always bangs on about music before the game.
I know.
Yeah, I think he likes his music.
He
so
does.
If you stuck his playlist on before, I'm sure he'd be very football orientated. But no, I think that's something that the fans would probably have to decide on, because it's all well and good trying to bring. If I was just to pluck something out the air, but half the fans might hate it. So I think you'd probably. If they want a new walkout song, perfect, let's do it.
Yeah, and even I think Keith was on about maybe speakers or something like that, and just adding to the whole, because obviously it's a shared space with the council and the running track and stuff like that, and the tannoy or whatever you would call it that's here faces out towards the pitch rather than in towards the fans. Yeah, if you get me.
No, and I know what you're leading towards here, because there is some issues with the sound system, especially here in the new stand. And fair play to Norris's, because Norris's have put their own hand in the pocket to come and get it fixed, so that it can be audible over this side. So big shout out to them for doing that. But in terms of audio system in the old stand, I'm not too sure. I'd have to pick that up
that's
tonight.
Coming directly from someone who's always sat in the new stand, so you can tell that.
I'll make note and make sure I figure out what's going on.
So what about yourself, Jamie? Like, listen, you're only 26. 27, sorry. Well, listen, I wouldn't mind
Close
if someone...
enough.
Yeah, it was my birthday a few weeks ago and I'm not too happy still about it. But you're 27. I mean, to be in the position you're in is incredible. But also, like, to speak to you, to hear you speak, it's an old head on young shoulders, if you like. You've been around football all your life, basically.
Yeah, no, grown up in boardrooms in non-league and up into the football league, so I'm mad for it, as they say. It's what I do day in, day out.
Did I hear you say you're in boardrooms in football clubs since you're about 5?
Probably 6 or 7, yeah. So I know how they operate and tick and how people talk to each other and the people who go in them ultimately, because you got to know these people. And also, to stay on that as well, I mean, you've also sat in those boardrooms, as you said, from non-league, and watched Fleetwood Town go from non-league up to League One, you know, head towards Wembley. You've seen Jamie Vardy's rise and all that kind of stuff. So, like, for someone like yourself to be coming into our club and to own our club, like, you don't just have the vision for what it can be. You've already shown that you've been a part of what can actually be. Yeah, I mean, I've watched Fleetwood do its biggest successes ever, 6 promotions in 10 years, and then the following 10 years in League One, playing against monster clubs like Sheff Wednesday and Sheffield United, Sunderland, where they come to Highbury and they get beat by little old Fleetwood, whose population wouldn't even fill half the stadium. So yeah, it's massive, that the trajectory that Fleetwood's been on, and I think even in the short time that we've been with Waterford, I think we've done everything that we said we'd set out to do, probably except from redesigning the crest, which is still on the to-do list.
Is it?
Yeah, that was something that we spoke about at the real outset, and I've already had some discussions with Richie about the future, because I know there's, for some affiliation reason, people of Waterford don't like the 3 lions. I quite like him.
Well, that's probably a political issue that I wouldn't get into publicly. But no, listen, we had a previous badge when the club went through a name change. So that badge itself is quite new.
It is, 2017 it was come out when Power brought in.
That's correct,
So watch this space. I think in the next year or two you might see some movement on there.
There's a brand new exclusive for you there now. But I think there's so much to dig for though in Waterford history. Like even the city's motto, "Urbs intacta mane," is the Latin for the untaken city. So there's a lot of history to take from if that's what you're looking into. But looking forward, I suppose, Jamie, we mentioned how much potential is in the League of Ireland, but just how much potential is in Waterford FC itself.
Yeah, I mean, Waterford's got the potential to be one of the biggest clubs in Ireland. So we're not Dublin centric. We're out on a limb, and we're our own county, our own city. So we've got to really be the poster boys for what we do down here. I think we can kick on into European positions and further. Why can't we bring silverware to Waterford? Mm-hmm. We're doing things properly. We probably should have been in this semi-final of the FAI Cup in a couple of weeks, but I don't think we'll elaborate too much on why we're not there.
No, I'm not going there myself. It was 11:30 and I'm getting out of here last week.
Yeah.
But no, look, I think what you're saying, look, it's very exciting as a supporter of Waterford and someone who's involved with the club. We have the RSC, we have the training facilities out in Carriganore, which are...
they're the best in the country.
Without a doubt. I think any of the players I've spoken to who've come either from the English side or even who've transferred within League of Ireland always speak about how blown away they are when they see the facilities we have here.
Yeah, I was as well. And I was such a snob really when you'd look at the League of Ireland as a general before I came here. So it doesn't surprise me. And I feel that when I'm speaking to agents and players today, because we're still trying to fetch players over here to try and secure them European positions. Mm-hmm. And you do feel like they sort of go, what, Ireland? Why would I consider that? And when you pitch it them and when you really describe the why of come to Ireland, it raises eyebrows and it shows people what really is going on over here. And if you can tempt more players from the UK, that's how we're going to grow the quality of the league, and probably why some of these teams that are going further in Europe as well at the minute. I mean, you've got Andre Wisdom come over here once in a blue moon ago. He used to play in the Premier League. Mandrew has just gone back to Shamrock. So players are going to start coming back the other way soon, and that'll be to the benefit of League of Ireland. Yeah,
look, you mentioned Andre Wisdom, of course, our own Podge, who's come back.
Podge, exactly.
Shawnee Maguire has gone back to Cork City after a successful career. So it's definitely showing, look, obviously Shawnee and Podge are Irish, but someone like Andre Wisdom, who of course I watched play for Liverpool at Anfield, is now after signing for Derry. We may even see him, as we record this, we may even see him tonight.
But very likely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about that, the league is clearly making huge strides and turning heads.
It is, yeah. I mean, just a couple of years ago, Baptiste, who came here, he was a revelation. He virtually nearly got us there just for one night at St Pat's ground, where we didn't get it over the line. And I think Tommy Lonergan scored then, actually, who I think now resides in Fleetwood as well. Right. So yeah, I think it's if you can get the right players, it's a shrewd move. I don't think you want to be going and trying to fetch the ones that are well past it, but I think the ones who are good characters, good professionals, let's bring them over here, and it'll be more fruits for the League of Ireland.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of I got into this a little bit with Keith, and I think it'd be good to get into it with yourself. Like, you're a 27-year-old lad. Like, what do you, outside of football, outside of your business, what kind of stuff are you into? Music, films? What are you into?
Just football.
Football.
Purely into football, yeah. Absolutely mad for it. And then I've got 2 kids, so I'm quite occupied with them too as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Is it all Fleetwood Town, Waterford? Do you have I know Fleetwood were your boyhood club, but is there a Premier League team you keep an eye on?
I think if you had a gun to my head, I'd say I'm a Man United fan.
I thought he'd say
but I'm a big believer in traditional football traditions, and if you're only a fan if you go to the games. So I'm a Fleetwood fan. I'm a Waterford fan. Apart from that, I'll keep my eyes on results.
And now that you're officially our owner and you're enjoying your time in Waterford, would you hope to get over a little bit more to see, or is that something that's not possible?
No, it is. Yeah, it's something I always intend to do. I think what we've built here now is we've got quite a bit of infrastructure. At the beginning, we probably needed someone here every fortnight just because it simply needed our help to get to where we wanted it to be. Richie's really stepped up. Richie's been sort of taken under Steve's wing to go and be taken on a bit of a journey, and he's really flourishing in his role. So it doesn't require our boots on the ground as much. Obviously, you have Adrian who helps out with a lot of the commercial stuff. He's doing a good job. And then in terms of coming over and watching the football, I want to do it as often as I can do. If it's not here, it's away games. So yeah, I make effort to come here as much as possible.
And also, I know community is a big thing over in Fleetwood. I heard you talking about how the training ground is used for so many different things in the community, but also here in Waterford, Colin has been amazing with the community efforts here.
Yeah.
How big is that to you?
Yeah, it's essential. I mean, that was one of the things on the tick list when we came in, was to set up a community trust. Look what Colin's done. Stuff like the boot room, walking football, the sensory room. It's all his ideas that have come into life, and he is really making a difference for the people who need it. Football is a community at the end of the day, and that's what Waterford Football Club is. Yeah.
What does the future look like to you here in Waterford with European football and stuff like that? How I won't say how far down the line that is, because we are speaking in hypotheticals, but what is the ultimate, I suppose, goal to get to here for you?
Champions League group stage, 10,000 all-seater stadium. I don't know how mad can we go. I do think we can touch silverware. That's what I think we should be aspiring to do. I don't see that's a mad statement. I think the FAI Cup would be great to bring a Munster Cup. I mean, we've put that in the cabinet for the first time in a long time. So that's one. And why not the league title as well?
Yeah, and I mean, I think you're going to have obviously Waterford supporters and myself, a Waterford supporter, listening to that and going, yeah, of course, because at the end of the day, I mean, you spoke about the Dublin-centric teams, and that's always a thing. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Waterford are the third, if not the fourth, most successful club in Ireland. So why not get back to winning Premier Leagues?
Yeah, exactly. I think the last time we lifted the FAI Cup was the 80s or something.
1980, yeah.
And we were waiting the final since 2004, was it?
2 balls on the pitch.
So
we're not bitter. We're not bitter still.
Yeah. So no, it's definitely an ambition. I went to the final last year, 50-odd thousand, Bows versus Pats. Really good atmosphere. Pats did well and won on the day, and that really just shows the direction that Irish football's going in. We're putting 50-odd thousand in a stadium for domestic games. It needs some real talking about.
Yeah. And just to kind of start finishing up as well, like you mentioned, you're over here now. It's the last week or the second last week in August, and there's already plans in place and stuff being in motion towards next year. There's no resting on the laurels. There's no let's get the last 9 games out of the way. It's already in the motion for next year.
Yeah, making plans already. As I said, I met with Keith today and the other guys around signings and what we want to do for next year, budgets. We've got one more round of fixtures left, so it's all to play for now. Sprint to the end of the season to see who gets European football.
Well, Jamie, look, hopefully the next time we speak in a public capacity at least, we'll be previewing some European fixtures. But look, either way, it's been such a journey since you guys took over. And I think I definitely speak for everyone in saying that the club is in the best position it's been in for a long, long time. No less because of you guys being involved.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure to be involved.
Well, look, Jamie, thank you for joining me. And hopefully everyone will know, because they'll be watching this in the future, what happened. But hopefully 3 points tonight.
Indeed, yeah, that's got to be the goal.
Thank you, Jamie.
Cheers.